Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the design experiences series with UiPath, and the topic for today is the selection screen. In case you are coming to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest updates. In this series, we are actually looking at the design experiences. And in the previous videos, we have seen that what exactly is classic, what exactly is the modern, how do they differentiate, and when to use what, right? So today we are going to start with the selection screen, but the base of this video would be the previous videos of the playlist. In case if you have not seen the previous video, I have put the links in the description for your reference. So let's get started. So first thing first, right? This is a quick recap, guys. Whenever we are doing any automation, we have the classic design. This is how you can identify the classic design. If you have the recording, screen scraping, UI Explorer, and this kind of menu, that means that you are in the classic design. However, in the modern design, the same would be replaced by a app/web recorder. You would have different set of UI automation activities, and the look and feel of the activities would be different. All of this is already explained in the first video of the series, and now we have also seen that what exactly are the targeting methods. So whenever as a developer I have to identify the elements on the screen, I can use selectors, anchors, wildcards, fuzzy selector, image automation, and computer vision. All of this we have seen in a one by one manner that when to use what, because these are the things which form the base for the modern activities, right? So before you jump into the modern activities, you need to understand that what exactly all of these things do in the UI automation, right? And we have also seen that whenever we are using the modern activities, we have to use the activity which is called use application/browser, which serve as the parent, or I would say which serve as the base for the modern activities, right? We have already explored the use application/browser activity in details along with the properties, so I hope you are already now comfortable with this thing, right? Once you have the base of the targeting methods and the use application/browser, then we can move to the next step of using the activities, right? And that is where something which come in picture, which is called the selection screen, right? Talking about the selection screen, right? When I attempt to select some of the UI element with the help of UiPath, in the classic one, we have seen that we only have something which is called the selector. In case I had to use the anchor, I had to drag and drop a new activity which is called an anchor. However, when you talk about the modern design, we have a concept of something which is called a descriptor. Now, previously it was selector, but now it is called a descriptor. Now, the first thing which you need to remember is the combination of target and anchor is called a descriptor. Okay. When indicating the selection screen, we have multiple things to do, right? We can pause, we can restart, we can detect, we can edit the selector. All of the things whichever we used to do with the classic experience are applicable to the modern experience as well, right? So this is a screenshot where I am showing the selection option. This one, we can select, we can configure, we can delete, we can manage. All of this we are going to see with a step-by-step demo, and the output of all this is two things, which is called a target and anchor. When I say target, it simply means the element which we want to automate, and anchors, I hope now you guys understand. So target and anchor together is called a descriptor, right? So the first thing which you guys need to remember is that what exactly is a descriptor. A descriptor is a combination of a target and an anchor. In the classic design, we have to do it separately, but in the modern this comes together. Let's see that in action in UiPath Studio. Okay, so I am back into my UiPath Studio. The first thing first, I am in the modern design experiences. You can see here the first activity which we should use is use application slash browser, right? I'll drag and drop this activity here. Okay, and now in the previous video we have seen that what all of this thing is and what are all these properties, right? So in case if you're not aware, guys, please watch that previous video. That will help you to understand today's video. Okay, so first thing first, like indicate the application to automate. Okay, let's say I want to automate a notepad application. So this is the notepad application which I want to automate, and my task is simple, that I want to click on this file button, or I want to simply type something on this one, right? Whenever we are using the modern activities, the first thing we decided that we are going to use this button which says use application to automate. I click on that, and now I point it to this window, right? It can be a browser as well. The same activity work for the browser as well, right? Now you notice here application path is already available here. All of these things are exactly available as we have discussed in the first video, right? Now my intention today is to click on this button which says file. So I'll go to the activities and I search for click. Okay, since I am using the modern design experiences, all of the activities today I am going to use from the modern design, right? So if you see here in the UI automation application, this is something which is called a click. I'll drag and drop this click here, and now if you notice here, the first thing it is asking me to indicate in the untitled notepad. Okay, if I just close this untitled notepad and I try to indicate, this won't work. In the classic it was allowed, right? But in this modern it says that, hey Mukesh, you are trying to automate the notepad. Where should I point? The notepad is not available, so you won't be able to do the automation, right? And that makes sense. So I'll quickly open the notepad again, and now if I say indicate in the app, see, now I can indicate, right? Where do you want to click? So now the first thing here, whenever I say indicate on the screen, you see you have this menu which is popping up, which is called the selection option. I have not selected anything, but I am getting this window which looks a bit complicated, right? It has a lot of buttons, a lot of features. Which one should I select? Should I click on this? What does this do? What is cancel, confirm? And there are a lot of things which are coming up as soon as I say indicate on the screen. So this video we are going to talk about all these options which pop up whenever we try to select, and how do I use each one of them. Okay, so this is where the selection options come in picture, right? So I hope the agenda is clear. This is what we are going to do today. Okay, I'll quickly go back to my presentation. I'll cancel this, right? So this is the selection option window which I was showing in the live demo, and this is what we can do. We can select, configure, delete and manage. Okay, now when we talk about this page, we have multiple options, right? Let's talk one by one so that we understand it properly, right? I would request you guys to create small notes for yourself so that you don't forget what exactly we talk about. Okay, the first thing here is the helper information. This I button is called the helper information. Wherever you say this I, this means information in this modern experience, and this is just to give you information about this thing. So if you see here, it says that hover over the element you want to indicate and click to select it. Basically this is a guided experience for the developer from UiPath to know that what exactly is happening. Okay, if you see the bottom, it also tells me that Mukesh, if you are not able to detect the element, chances are there that the application is not giving you the selector. That time what you have to do, you can use the computer vision, you can use the image automation, and you can change the UI framework, right? So I hope now you guys are comfortable with the UI framework, computer vision and the image automation, right? That is the reason we covered all of this in the first place. Okay, the first option here is the pause. If you are coming from a classic experience, right, you would remember that if I have to select something from the drop down, I have to pause the automation, and I could pause it for 3 seconds, and the shortcut was F2. The same option is available here in the selection panel. The shortcut is still the same, F2. However, here you have multiple options. In the classic design, it was only 3 seconds. The timer automatically used to start whenever I used to select F2, right? But here it is default 1 second, 3 second, 5, 7, 9. You have all these options which are available. But if I talk about the default value in the modern is the 5 seconds. It is not 3 seconds. How do you use it? Let me quickly show it to you in the notepad. Okay, so the first, there are two things we are discussing. We are discussing the helper menu and we are discussing the pause selection, right? Let's see that in action. Okay, so this was our automation. Now my job is to click on this button which is called open, right? This menu open. But to open this small window, I need to first click on the file button. If I say indicate on the screen and I point it to this one, file, to open that sub menu, I need to first click on it. But if I click on this file button, what will happen? UiPath Studio will think that my UI element is file, but my UI element is not the file. My UI element is the open. That is the place we are going to use the pause menu, which means that pause the selection. Now previously it was 3 seconds, but in the new one it is 5 seconds. The shortcut is F2, right? The shortcut is F2, guys. So now what I am doing is I am pressing F2 on my keyboard, and you would see at the top we are getting a counter of 5 seconds, and now again it is available, right? I'll again show it to you. I'll hit F2 again, and you would notice that the 5-second window is popping up, right? The same thing will happen if I go here and I say pause, and again it is showing the timer for 5 seconds. Why 5 seconds? Because that is the default value. But let's say I'm writing an automation where I don't require 5 seconds. It is more, it is less. I can use this option and I can have all this option 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. If I select it to 3 seconds, it will only show the time for 3 seconds. And now I'll click on pause and you see 3, 2 and 1, right? So how do you use the pause? You simply go here, select the specified time. If you don't select anything, it is 5 seconds. I click on pause and then I simply open this window, short window, right? And now I can select this option, this, whichever, right? My task was to open this, so I'll select this one which says open. Click on that and it will get the selector, right? So I hope that is clear, that how do you use the pause window. I hit cancel again, indicate on screen again. So this was the pause window, and this is what the I window I was talking about, right? You have all these options which are available here. Okay, now one more thing here. If you have to scroll to the pages to select anything, you do not require to pause the selection. It simply means that if I have a page, or if I have some page or a website application which is having data and there is a scroll bar, so you do not need to pause your automation. You simply can scroll down with your mouse and select the last element. So whenever you have to scroll down to the page, or you have to select something which is not coming on the page, you do not need to pause the automation, guys. You can simply scroll down and select the element, no need to pause, right? So these were the two options, which is called helper and the pause, and the scroll option, it is just for your information. Okay, moving ahead, we have the other options. Now we have hoverable, image and the native selection. By name it seems a bit difficult and different to understand, but let's try to understand it, right? The first one is hoverable item selection. If I have to select something which is only visible when I keep my mouse on it, right? When I hover my mouse on it, to select such item, we need to have different techniques. We used to use different techniques in the classic. Here, you simply can use a shortcut key which is called F6, and that would allow you to select the hoverable items, right? Let's see this first in action and then we'll move to the other one. Okay, so now I have got a website which is called uipath.com, right? Now if you see here, if I have to select something from here, I don't have to click, I just scroll my mouse to solution. If I move my mouse, then it comes down. If I hover my mouse, then these solutions are coming, right? It's not a click, it's a hover. See, if I have to select something from this, let's say I have to go to solution and I have to select healthcare or banking and finance. If you have to do some automation, in the classic experience we used to do a lot of things, right? But in the modern experience you can simply use the hover option and that do the job for me. How does that work? I'll quickly go back to UiPath Studio, right? Now if you see here, this application is pointing to notepad, so I cannot use it, right? I'll collapse, I'll go here and I'll take a new which is called use application / browser, right? I'll delete this, I'll say indicate application to automate and I'll point it to this guy. That's it, right? Now it's use application / browser and this is browser URL. Okay, now I have to click, so I use the click activity, drag and drop it here, and it says that indicate in the edge, right? More user friendly. I say indicate in the edge and now I have to point it here, but if I simply keep my mouse here, it's not allowing me to do. However, if you see here, you have this small kind of symbol which is a finger symbol and which has some icon on top of it. That is to select the hoverable element selection, and the shortcut is F6. You can just press the F6 key, same like we have F2 for this one, we have F6 for this one, right? So I will just select this one and now UiPath would understand that I am trying to select something from a hoverable elements, right? So I'll just select this guy, because if I don't select this one, you would see that UiPath is trying to directly click on this solution button, right? But my agenda is to read the data which is inside the solution, right? So I'll just point this guy and now I can just select the specific one which is healthcare. That's it, right? Hoverable element was found. To confirm, we just say confirm and it will take the element directly, right? Interesting, right? That is how powerful this modern experiences are, right? We don't have to think a lot, we just have to know that everything is done by UiPath for us. Okay, so that option was hoverable item selection, which is this guy, the small one, and the shortcut is F6. Okay, now let's move forward. Sometime we have to switch from indicating the element to indicating area. Let's say I'm writing an automation where I want to do some automation, but instead of the selector, I want to do it with the help of an image. So if you see here, just after the hover, we have something which is called this photo kind of something, which means that this is nothing but an image region selection. You can drag a selection on the screen, indicate the area you want to target, right? But remember guys, whenever we are doing the image automation, as we discussed in the targeting method, image should be only used when your selectors and your fuzzy selectors are not working. So as soon as you select this option, automatically what would happen, it will disable the selector and the fuzzy selector for you, right? And the shortcut for this is F3. Okay, what this actually means, let us see that in action. Okay, so I'll just remove this, right? So here, if you see here, I have to do something on this browser, right? I say a click activity and I say indicate in the edge and I point it to, let's say, this solution button, right? Straightforward automation. Now you would notice here I am getting the selector, fuzzy selector, image, everything is created by UiPath for me, right? That is the differentiate between the classic and the modern. Whenever you do any automation with this kind of experience, it automatically grabs the fuzzy selector, the selector, the computer vision, the image. In the classic experience, if I have to simply click, I was only getting the selector. If I have to make fuzzy, I have to make fuzzy myself. If I have to use anchor, I have to use anchor myself. If I have to image, I have to use image automation. But here, as soon as I point this to here, all of these are automatically generated. Now let's say my requirement is that I want to do this automation with the help of image, right? But remember guys, image should be only used when the selectors are not used, right? So I can go to this option and I can freeform select any of this like this, and collecting the target information, I can say confirm. But the thing which you would see here is that now I am not getting the selectors and the fuzzy selectors, right? Because fuzzy selectors and selectors should be the first option. Image should be used when you are not getting the proper selectors. So when I used image, I am not getting the other options, right? And that is what our presentation also tell us. Image region selection, you can switch from indicating directly the element you want to use. You can just select by selecting this, and you can use the F3 as the hotkey. Okay, now so that was this guy, and this is only in the selection option. See, this window is small, but it has got a lot of features. Okay, there is one other option here which is called this T, which is called enable native text, which simply means that we can identify all the text level on this target application that can be viewed through the native methods, right? So guys, whenever we talk about the methods, we have native, we have full text, and we have OCRs, right? If I want to know that in my applications, what are the things that I can do the automation with the help of just using the text, native text, which is visible on the screen, right? Remember when we talk about the native, full text, and the OCR, the same concept, right? If you want to see in this complete screen which all are the elements that you can identify with the help of native method, just click on that button and it will show you all the details. How does it look like? Let me quickly show that in action. Okay, so I'll just go here, right? We talked in the last video that how do you reset. You can just go here and you say indicate target on the screen, and now this window is open, right? I can use this to pause, hover, image. But if I click on this one, enable native text, could not detect any text element using the native scraping. This guy is telling me that, hey Mukesh, you don't have anything in this page which you can use by native selection. Okay, let's try to see that in different thing, right? Let's say I'll try to do it with the help of Notepad, right? It has a lot of things here, right? So to do the Notepad, I'll simply use this one, which is called use application / browser. Okay, we'll point it to Notepad application, and now let's try to click something. So I'll use a click activity inside, indicate, and if I point it to this button, this is selecting, right? But let's try to click on this one, text extraction method. Now as soon as I select any of these options, this is going to use the technique of the graphical design interface. So if you just give 3 seconds to read this, which says that text data extraction method, which means that only work with the application that are built to render the graphical device interface. So Notepad is an application which is built on the same technique. It also extract the screen coordinates of the text, but it does not work in the background. If you use this option, it does not work in the background. So be careful whenever you are using this. By this option, if I try to use this selector, which is called file, right, you would notice that we are only trying to select it with the help of the native text, which is the file button. If I click on confirm, the selector looks something like this, right? I can always go here and I say edit the target, right? And you would see that it is only having the native text. However, let me try to show you the difference. If I use a click activity and I say indicate on the notepad using this, and now let me point it to the file button, and this is toggled off now. Now you would notice that the selection is done with the help of selectors, fuzzy selector, computer vision, image. I say confirm, and now you would see the difference here. It was only selecting with the help of the text attribute. See, native target, only the native text, no selector, nothing is available here. But if you see here, it is selecting with all the options which are available along with the capability to run in the background. Okay, so that option you have available, but you have to use it carefully. Okay, so that was enable native text. Okay, now by clicking on the show all native element button, the text are highlighted in the target application. All the text whichever are highlighted can be done with this automation, enable native text. Okay, so these were the options for hoverable, pausing, native selection, right? There are more buttons which we are going to explore in the upcoming videos, but till this point I hope now you understand hoverable, image, native, pause and everything. Okay, let's move forward. The next option you have is something which is called computer vision. Remember guys, we have a dedicated playlist where we talk about the computer vision. This is mostly for the application where you are not getting the selectors and you don't want to use the image automation as well, right? So how does the computer vision work? It actually takes a screenshot of your complete screen, it sends it to the UiPath server, generate the selector and give it back to the application, right? By using the computer vision, you can actually automate the remote desktop, RDP, Citrix and all kind of applications which are not giving you the selectors. The shortcut to use computer vision is the F8 key, and you also have a button which says that show the computer vision elements and you would be able to see everything, right? Let's see that in action. Okay, I'll show you the difference also. This is a notepad. Okay, I'll just minimize this. Okay, this is the notepad. I wanted to click on the file button, so I'll just delete this. I'll delete this as well. Okay, so I'll go here and I say click. I say indicate on the notepad and this window pops up. So this you see here, this grid kind of something after the text one, this is your computer vision. If you toggle this off, it says computer vision is disabled. To enable the computer vision on the selection, simply come here and click on this guy which says enable the computer vision, and you would see here computer vision is enabled. I can select on this guy which says show all CV elements, and you would be able to see that which all elements are identified by the computer vision, right? By clicking on this one, disable and enable, right? To better understand this, let me quickly do something fancy and then you would understand how powerful is the computer vision, right? I will cancel. Okay, I'll minimize this. So what I'll do is I have this web page, right? So I'm going to take a snipping tool. Okay, and I'm going to take a screenshot of, let's say, this page. Okay, let me do it properly. I'll just take a new and I'll point it to only this. Okay, so this is a snipping tool now. Okay, so if I just minimize this, I have my snipping tool. So let's say this is an RDP, right? RDP throws an image, so this is an image. Now let's say I have to automate something, so I'll use application and browser. I'll point it to the application which is this one. Okay, to the snipping tool. Now if I try to click here, normal click, right? I'll just toggle this off first. I'm not able to select, right? Because this is an image. This is just a snipping tool, right? This is kind of a photo. How I would be able to select? But as soon as I toggle this on, it is loading the computer vision. And now if I see, I'm able to select the element on the image as well. Which all elements are identified, I can simply click here, say show all CV elements. And as you can see that these are all the things which the computer vision has enabled for me. Very, very powerful technology, just a matter of click for you. If you don't want computer vision, it's available local, you can toggle this off. But if you want to do a remote automation, you can always come here, click on this guy, show all CV elements, and it will show you, right? So this is how easy it is in modern activities to do the computer vision automation, right? But to do this, you need to have a background of computer vision. I'll cancel this. I hope you guys understood that how exactly the computer vision thing work. Okay. Now, for those of you who do not understand this computer vision at all, right? You have no idea what exactly is this computer vision, how does it work, what is virtual machine automation, what are the things I can do. I have a dedicated playlist where I'm explaining this virtual machine automation in a step-by-step manner, right? So the link to this complete virtual automation playlist, which is using computer vision, is available in the description, right? You can see all of these things, and that will serve as a base for the computer vision for you. Okay, so please do watch this playlist if you don't understand. Okay, moving ahead now, the last option which we have is called the UI framework, right? Now for those of you who are coming from the classic experience, we have something which is called the UI Explorer. There you have something which is called the UI framework, and whenever you are not able to get the elements on the screen, we always use the UI framework. How does that happen in the modern? That also we'll see, right? Let's go back to the UiPath and let me quickly show you what I mean, right? So whenever I am using the UI automation, we use this guy which is called UI automation.activities. This now contains the modern and the classic. I hope this is clear. We discussed this in the first video. We have something which is called UI Explorer, right? Now what is this? This is a single place, guys, which help you to generate the selectors. It has got a lot of features, right? We have already explained the UI Explorer in a detailed video when we are discussing the classic one, right? We have seen how does all of this work. One important feature here in the UI Explorer is this guy, which is options. When I say option, I have these three frameworks which are available: default, active accessibility, and UI automation, right? Whenever I have to do something which is very new, I use UI automation. Whenever we have something which is very old, we use active accessibility. And by default, this is set to default, which works on 99% of the times. This we used to use in the classic when we are trying to automate something and the selectors are not appearing, right? If the same thing I have to do in the modern, where exactly that thing is, right? So I'll just try to do with this snipping tool only. I'll say indicate on the screen, and here this we have seen. At the last you say something which is called this option. This is available for you to select the correct automation type, right? You have different option here. The first one is called the auto, which automatically chooses the framework for you based on your selection. So if you are absolutely new, you can totally rely on the auto option and let UiPath decide the correct framework for you. Okay, it has the other option which is called active accessibility, and then it has something which is called the UI automation. In the active accessibility, this is the same concept, guys. It is recommended when you are using a very old legacy software and you are not getting the selectors from the auto option, then I use this one. Similarly, if I have something where the default option does not work, you can use this one which is called UI automation. This is for the more recent and the improved accessibility models, right? But again, I am repeating, these two should be used only when the auto is not working. Okay, so you can just go here, select this, and now it is AA auto. Just a matter of click and you can actually change the framework directly from here, right? And all these other options are applicable to this setting as well. Okay, so that was about UI framework. You can change the UI framework. The shortcut is F4 key. As I told, we have auto, active accessibility, and the UI automation. Important thing to remember, this and this should be only work when the default does not work, right? Please remember that. Okay, once a target is selected, the option to the next stage on the selection window will further, and you can just validate, confirm, cancel. All of these things are available. So there the window is simple, the selection screen, right? But it has got a lot of features for you. Okay, so today in this video we have discussed about the selection window features which we get in the modern design experiences, right? Before wrapping this video, let's quickly have a recap, right? We have seen that UI automation refers to the process of automating the interface. We have modern and we have classic. In the modern, I have to do everything by myself. In the modern, we have to use the first thing, which is use application/browser, which allow us a lot of features, lot of properties. However, the first thing is whenever we try to select something, we have something which is called the selection screen, right? It has got all the features handy for a developer, so it is important for a developer to understand what exactly that selection screen does, right? We have more control on the selection of UI elements by different techniques, right? Computer vision, select the text, pause, and that hover, right? A lot of things available handy for us. You can do the UI framework, everything available, right? So I hope you understand this concept. If you have any more questions, any more doubts, feel free to write me in the comments, or you can also drop me an email as well. Also, I would appreciate your feedback on this complete series and on this video particularly, that how you guys are liking it, is it helpful, and what else you want to see on the channel. Okay, with this I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.